Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. And today, from DC Direct and McFarlane Toys, we have Page Puncher's John Constantine, as he appears in the exclusive Black Adam comic book, which comes bundled with this action figure, and that's why it's part of the Page Punchers line. So this comic book's included. Great looking figure, as you can see right here. Comes with his book, spell effect with extra hand, and it looks fantastic. If you're a fan of like the Hellblazer comic books published by DC or Vertigo comics way back in the day, I think this figure is right up your alley. You know, Constantine's a character that they've kind of like really integrated into the DC universe. I think back when they did the he always had those appearances in like Swamp Thing, but I think more in terms of like modern Constantine, I think with like the New 52, maybe like 10 or 11 years ago, he was, I think, brought in as maybe as a member of Justice League Dark. I think it was some years ago. I might have my details wrong, but that's what I kind of vaguely remember. The character's been around for a while. I think he was introduced back in I think 1987 or 88. Here's the comic book, trading card display stand. Whoops. Alright, so I'm just going to leave the book in there, as a book, not much to say about that, but I do want to take a look at the spell effect. It's kind of with like, I know why they did it, but this is kind of supposed to be like a pentagram, but instead it's actually upright like a normal star, and it's kind of similar to like what you'd see with like Doctor Strange and other magic wielding characters. It's kind of cool. Alright, so we have John Constantine, Hellblazer. I think it'd be great if, like, because I know McFarlane, they've done the Batman 66 figures, but I think it'd be awesome if they started tapping into, like, live-action versions of the characters. Of course, they do have the upcoming Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Black Adam, but I'd love it if they did something crazy, like, and did the Keanu Reeves Constantine. I think that'd make a great figure, especially since McFarlane's had a history with producing Keanu Reeves action figures with The Matrix. But let's take a look at this guy. It's a very cool figure. The one thing that's making me crazy is that I'd love to just use this figure as a base for like a custom Detective Jim Gordon figure. I'd love to just do a head swap, or even better yet, if you could find the right size of like glasses, you could easily make a Detective Jim Gordon. Just repaint the hair, give him glasses. And you could just say here that the tear in his pants is maybe got in a scuffle. But yeah, this would be a great Detective Gordon figure. I think that's something Batman needs. This figure's height stands in at about 7 inches. Here he is next to a McFarlane designed Batman, also from the DC Multiverse line. So I'll give you an idea of the scale. You know, the scale on the McFarlane end of things with the DC stuff, it varies, you know, from figure to figure, but, you know, this will just give you an idea of how he stands next to like a superhero build. And just for the hell of it, here's my my Alfred figure. This is actor Sean Pertwee from the old Fox Gotham series. And I'm just curious to see how this guy stands next to him, since they're both kind of like civilian looking characters. Yeah, they kind of work. This guy kind of has a huge head, though. Alright, the facial sculpt, very comic book like. The hair looks nice, really well done. He has a nice expression also. Kind of has a very tiny smirk. I love the trench coat. It's not overly done. You know, just the right amount of wrinkles and folds. The lapel over here kind of overlaps the buttons. It's a nice touch. He kind of has that look with the loosened necktie. You know, like he's having a very long, tiring day. Some folds towards the bottom of his shirt. Wrinkles in his pants. Alright, so this is me just being stupid and being an idiot. So when I was looking at this figure, I was looking at his pants, checking out the folds and wrinkles. And the first thing I thought of is, thank God this guy doesn't have a church boner. And if you don't know what a church boner is, look it up. Wrinkles around the knees. The wrinkles on this knee looks kind of weird because it seems like the wrinkles are folding in. And if you have a knee, it seems like the wrinkles shouldn't be as excessive. It should feel like the knee's coming outward, not like falling inward, which seems kind of odd. He has a scrape over here, so his knee or his pants are kind of torn, which makes sense. You know, maybe he's been battling demons all day. His pants kind of like pile up towards the bottom. Nice boots. Hard-working man. Beautiful coat. I gotta say, every time I look at this figure, even from behind, I keep on thinking this would be a great Jim Gordon figure. There's not enough Detective Gordon figures, to be honest. I think DC Direct has a few. I think they had one for one of the Arkham games, and then there's, I think, the Greg Capullo designer series, James Gordon. Mattel has their super heavy James Gordon, but that's the Jim Gordon with the mohawk. And here's that spell effect we were talking about earlier. You know, ideally it should be upside down like a pentagram, but I guess you can't have that. So let's do a hand swap real quick and see how that looks. All right, the hand, it should pull off easy, which it does. Don't want to lose this. And then this thing plugs in simple, socket, peg, and you marry the two pieces together. And then there you go. You have this spell effect, which looks great. Yeah, so it's John Constantine, the Hellblazer. You know, if you're very nostalgic for the older Vertigo comics, you know, I think it's kind of cool that you're getting a figure of him. Even though this is, you know, much more modern day John Constantine. It looks fantastic. In terms of the articulation, this dude's head rotates. Does he look down? Looks down pretty well. That's nice. Does he look up? Not so much. It feels like the coat's getting in the way. Popped his collar. Cut mid-torso. It's kind of an unsightly cut just because you get the shadows casted underneath, but I think that's forgivable. Swivel at the waist also. Arms rotate. They go out. It looks like he does not have that ball-socketed butterfly joint, I think. Some of the figures in the McFarlane line that wear jackets and coats, they don't always have that butterfly joint. I mean, they do in a sense, you know, they still have the full mobility, but they don't have that extra piece underneath, if you know what I'm talking about. Double pinned elbows, very standard articulation. Let's get this thing off, it's in the way. Let's get this back on. Articulated wrists. And it's nice because the ball joint's hidden by the cuff and the sleeve. The coat's kind of a... It's a thicker material, feels like towards the top, but it feels like as you get down, it kind of thins out. It's not very long, which is nice. Doesn't really get in the way, and it's not, flowing outward all that much either. It's very neutral, which I can appreciate. Legs kick up, and it kind of hit his crotch piece right there. They go out. Could you do full splits? Almost full splits. Double pinned knees. Again, very standard stock articulation for McFarlane figure. Ankle articulation and toe articulation. If I had to rate this figure on a scale of 1 to 10, to be honest, it's pretty perfect. When I think of like John Constantine and Hellblazer and the old comic books, it's very close to what I'm seeing right here. It's a nice figure. It's not like he's wearing a crazy costume. This is a guy in a long coat in a suit and tie, or a dress shirt and tie. The sculpting's really well done. Has a lot of personality to it. I don't know. For a second, I was just staring at his face. He almost kind of looked a little bit like Benedict Cumberbatch, but that just might be me. Yeah, great comic book interpretation of the character. Yeah, really, really well done. Like this guy a lot. So is this a guy you need in your collection? I think it depends. If you're more into like the superheroes and whatnot, and you don't really care or familiar with Constantine, it might be an easy pass. If you're a fan of like, like Vertigo comics, Alan Moore, Swamp Thing, Sandman, that kind of stuff, this might be your jam. So I do think it's worth the purchase just because it's a refreshing take on an action figure, especially since it's a line that's filled with so many caped characters. And when I say caped characters, I mean like the superheroes in general. It's nice to get a very civilian-looking kind of guy. And if you're a customizer or if you're into fig photography, this makes for a very generic civilian. And for me, it's like I said, if you're a customizer, repaint his hair, give him glasses, give him a mustache, and you have Detective Gordon. All right, with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So, until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.